The peak of human civilization was in 1999, at least if you ask Agent Smith. It was just a few years before artificial intelligence was created and everything started going downhill. 26 years later, we have ChatGPT, and you have no idea whether the news you read this morning was written by a real person or generated by AI. 26 years later, you can't even be sure if the image you see on Facebook is real or an AI creation. As Morpheus said, the Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Now in 2025, I can say that The Matrix was almost a documentary as much as it was a sci-fi movie, but it's not the only sci-fi movie that predicted the future. Hey there, welcome back. If sci-fi predictions blow your mind, give us a thumbs up and let's check them out. The Matrix. I saw this film first around 2012. I thought I knew the twist. The government is controlling minds or something. Cool action, lady jumps over a chair, etc., etc. Oh my god, how wrong I was. At first I couldn't help but wonder why everyone acts so mysterious about what the Matrix is. Like, just tell us already. Then you realize that no one would believe them if they said what it is. Someone truly just has to see it for themselves. They're trying to say as little as possible to protect their safety, while giving Neo just enough info to get him to take the red pill. You take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. The red pill will show Neo harsh reality, because everything he thinks he knows is false. And that applies to us too. All of us consumers placidly sucking up the trance-inducing pap from the corporate political complex of the state. 2001, A Space Odyssey. This movie shows so much tech that we now use casually in our everyday lives. It's wild to see the astronaut eating a microwave dinner while watching the news on his tablet.
3 weeks ago, the Americans...
But the wildest thing about this movie? It predicted what the Earth would look like from the moon, 1 year before we actually landed there. Can you believe it? 2001 was released 3 years before an actual space station was successfully put into orbit. Yep, that's right. The wildest prediction in the movie has to be HAL 9000, the ship's super smart AI. HAL can understand speech and make decisions on its own.
Thank you. You are cleared through voice print identification.
Which is honestly pretty scary. It's crazy how it nailed the kind of ethical questions we're now talking about AI today. Blade Runner. The climate crisis is upon us, with skies in Beijing so polluted they're hard to distinguish from Blade Runner. Corporate power has arguably eclipsed that of any government, with some provocative commentators even calling for Facebook and Amazon to be given seats at the United Nations. Meanwhile, the world continues to struggle with a deadly virus, something you'll find in cyberpunk works like Snow Crash and Johnny Mnemonic, though in The Matrix, Agent Smith says,
"Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague, and we are the cure."
But in Blade Runner, anytime Rick Deckard speaks to someone who is not directly in front of him, it's by videophone. While this technology is common today, it was revolutionary back in 1982. The Truman Show. Okay, The Truman Show might lean more dystopian than true science fiction, but it definitely deserves a mention. In fact, this movie deserves a whole sequel, and we actually made a video about that just a couple of weeks ago. You should check it out. The Truman Show came out in 1998, just a year before Big Brother, and it feels even more relevant today. The movie shows a world obsessed with watching a real person's life, just like how we scroll through Instagram and TikTok now, watching others in real time. It also warns about how we turn our lives into content and lose our privacy by sharing everything online. In a world full of influencers and constant updates, The Truman Show feels more real than ever. Gattaca. Gene editing in Gattaca is now closer to reality. Although the movie was inspired by real events like the Human Genome Project launch in 1990 and the cloning of Dolly the sheep, Gattaca came out in 1997, about 15 years before CRISPR-Cas9 made precise edits to human DNA possible. Her. In my mind, Her is the most insanely accurate sci-fi movie ever made. ChatGPT is already very close to being Samantha, the AI assistant in the film. Just like Samantha, ChatGPT can analyze images, videos, and even comment on them. Other AI assistants are also imitating human speech, writing essays, and answering complex questions. They're not perfect, but they're getting closer every day.
You're dating your computer?
Star Trek: The Next Generation. When Star Trek: The Next Generation premiered in 1987, most people were still using Commodore 64 computers and clunky mouse. Seeing the crew of the USS Enterprise using sleek touchscreen computers felt revolutionary, yet creator Gene Roddenberry and his team got it right. Touchscreen devices are now an essential part of how we interact with technology every day. Minority Report. In Minority Report, John Anderton is constantly bombarded by ads tailored specifically to his interests, even addressing him by name. This concept of targeted advertising has become a reality today. While it's not as intense as in the movie, modern advertisers use data from our online behavior, like past purchases or search history, to offer products and services they think we'll want. Brazil. At first glance, Terry Gilliam's sci-fi comedy Brazil presents a familiar vision of the future. Sam Lowry lives in a world full of futuristic gadgets. His apartment is equipped with machines that cook his breakfast and help him get ready, and every desk at his job has a computer. Employees can even chat instantly, no matter where they are. But unlike the sleek, functional tech of Star Trek or Star Wars, everything in Brazil is a disaster. Instead of making life easier, the inventions are clunky, unreliable, and overly complicated. Sam spends more time fighting with gears and tubes than getting things done, trapped in a bureaucratic nightmare. Anyone who's ever rebooted their phone to take a call or struggled with a glitchy website knows Sam's constant feeling of frustration all too well. The Terminator. In Terminator, military drones were everywhere. What was pure science fiction 40 years ago isn't fiction anymore. Just look around and you'll probably spot a drone, hopefully not a military one. Well, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and let's know your thoughts below. If you haven't, kindly subscribe for more awesome content. See you in the next video.